What's up YouTube? Welcome to today's video where I'm going to go over the exploit that I was talking about in my previous video about the third-party tool that people were using to exploit the new arch nemesis mods. Now, before I start the video, I would like to preface it by saying do not go out and actively seek out and try to download this tool. You will probably get banned, especially now that it is on GGG's radar. So do not try to find it and do not use it if you do find it. So there is a third-party program that can tell you whether an X-Touch rare spawned in your map before you even enter it. And this was actually a post that was put onto Reddit. And as you can see here on Reddit, this actually became the most popular post. And I was actually really surprised when this happened because usually Reddit never allows posts like this, and it became pretty fastly upvoted, purely because of what Chris said about how certain groups were finding some insane amount of currency. And we pretty much found out how they were finding all this insane amount of currency. It turns out they were probably using a third-party program, and it's not 100% confirmed, but at this point, I don't really know anymore. But there is a third-party tool that did allow you to farm for currency by pretty much entering a map, finding out if there's a Solaris Touched Mob in there, and then immediately leaving. And this is a huge deal. Now, in the item drop post, GGG actually mentioned that juice mapping was pretty much fine because in his experience from looking at data, there were 6-person parties juicing to extreme levels, and they were still finding ridiculous amounts of stuff like multiple meters per day or over 50 divine orbs from a single monster. So there is a third-party tool that does tell you when this X-Touch rare spawns as soon as you enter the map. So you pretty much enter the map. It tells you, it's a preload thing that tells you if there's a special type of arch nemesis mod that spawns. And then if you're not in the map, you can just leave the map, and you pretty much repeat the process until you find a map with the Solaris Touched Mob. So how the tool works is it reads the memory and checks what mods are preloaded upon entering the instance. And this is pretty much what Chris wrote about the whole ordeal. Now, I just wanted to show you how the Divine Explosion drop actually looks like. Now, if we look at this video right here, so this is pretty much, I don't even know where it came from. Someone linked it to me in chat. But this is pretty much a 4-man party, and there is no indication here that these people are using any sort of hack, so I don't really want to say anything about it. But I just want you to look at the delirium orbs this group is using, just in case, right? So these people are actually using some armored delirium orbs, right? So they're pretty cheap. I think armored delirium orbs are 1 to 2 chaos, but these are currency ones, so a little bit more expensive. They're pretty much probably putting on whatever delirium orb they can find. And right here, you can see here's a huge divine explosion. And now they go to another one, some more weapon delirium orbs. And yeah, another 6 divine orbs there. So the map is not super juiced there. And here is 21 divine orbs right there. So you can see here, this group has found Solaris Touch over and over again. And at this point, with how much they probably found roughly, if I had to guess, like, I don't know, like already a mage blood worth of currency. So it does seem to be pretty profitable if you're able to repeat it. And they did find quite a bit of these Solaris Touched Mobs, which are super rare. Now, Chris actually responded to the post on Reddit that exposed this whole method, and he said that the countermeasures have been implemented months ago, and that players would not have any information whether the mod is on a 3 or 4 mod rare monster. But this doesn't really matter, as you saw in the previous video. Those people were probably killing it on a 3 mod monster or a 4 mod monster, and it's still insanely profitable, whether you drop 11 divine orbs or 21 divine orbs. So this thing does not really matter at all. And you would have to juice each map speculatively, which is very wasteful. So what it means is that you pretty much still have to juice the map. You have to put the deli orbs on the map. You have to put the scarabs on the map. Then you have to put it in. Now, the problem with this method is that the juicing materials are extremely cheap currently, that it is extremely profitable even if you just waste the map. So if you guys look right here, I can pretty much go show you how much weapon delirium orb is. It is 1 to 2 chaos or maybe 3 chaos. So it's around, 15 chaos per map to put it on. And if you did see in this video, these people were mostly using the cheapest deli orb. Not saying that these people are cheating or anything, or they're using the exploit, but it is noted that a lot of people just use the cheapest deli orb, and the investment cost per these maps is actually extremely low, because juice mapping is just not that profitable anymore. So a lot of things that Chris said here, and even these hypotheses or whatever, or these two limiting factors that he mentioned are not exactly completely true in how it would just limit someone from not using this tool. Now, the fact of the matter remains, does this tool actually exist? And have the countermeasures actually been implemented months ago? And the tool does exist. Unfortunately, it's been around PoE for almost like 8 years or so. And according to multiple people on Reddit, this was discovered that GGG actually patched the exploit, and they patched it by adding fake arch nemesis monster IDs into the memory. So when you read the memory of the preload, you might get bamboozled and into thinking that there's a Solaris Touched Mob in there. So this is what they actually did, but they actually did this a couple of hours after the original Reddit post. So in the post that Chris is telling us that they actually implemented these months ago so that it's not possible, and he told us to not be fooled by the scary looking posts that look authoritative. We have considered this extensively when designing the system, and it turns out this is pretty much just not true. Multiple people have said they went on the forums for the so-called tool and found out that only a couple hours ago they patched the exploit by adding the fake arch nemesis mod. And this person says you took countermeasures months ago, and there is evidence everywhere on the web that you can still horribly cheat in 3.19. Takes a few minutes to find the tool. And then this person said it is in fact impossible to see. This has been fixed at a couple hours ago, right? Did a bit of research and looks like it got hot fixed. It seems like they implemented fake arch nemesis data. The tool can't distinguish between real touch and fake touch anymore. That would be lovely, since this kind of hack would completely destroy the economy of this already banged up league. So at this point, it's very possible that certain groups have exploited this bug and have injected tens of thousands of divine orbs into the economy. I think it is very possible that a lot of people have done this. Not a lot, but a certain amount of people. And you can see how much the payoff is, and it is not very unlikely that there has been some economic damage done, but I don't really think the economic damage is that bad, but there is still some economic damage that has been done. And I wanted to play you this little clip over here about what Chris said, and it's kind of sad.
Gold to have better items. And in a game where progress is literally how you're measured and what you're working on, the ability for someone to cheat their way to faster progress. You go to sleep looking forward to playing tomorrow, and when you come online, everyone's got 10 billion gold and an entire town each because there was an exploit while you were asleep. That's not fun. And so it's critical in the launch of a game to make sure that the economy is sacrosanct. And personally, if I was launching a game and there were that many problems in it, I would just take it back into beta, do whatever it takes before doing a big wipe and having a launch that was stable, where players' progress is actually reliable and tracked properly.
So, by that logic, we're going to have a relaunch of the league where loot is going to be fixed, everything's going to be wonderful, and we're just going to be back to juice map, 100% deli, everything's going to be fun, right? Because that's literally what Chris said. There's an economic damage, the economy is no longer sacrosanct. So yeah, so let's go see what is actually the history of the tool. So people might be wondering, how long has this tool existed? This tool has pretty much been around for a long time. People have used it in the past to find Arcanist boxes, even way back in Ambush League. Beast farmers have been using this tool to put in a map, and then they know immediately if a high value rare beast is in the map or not. So in the past, there's a split beast, there's a 6-link beast, and there's also the imprint beast, and then they would TP their alt account, because GGG actually combated this before. Before, you would not need to be near the boss at all, but now you have to be within the proximity of the beast dying in order for you to get credit for the beast. So once they find the beast, they would TP their alt accounts in, and then they would have 6 copies of a rare beast, like imprint, and that's pretty much how you see when you try to buy like the Krakic Chimero or whatever it's called. You will see that some people have so many copies of the beast, and it just makes no sense how someone has so many copies of the beast, right? And they pretty much have that many copies of the beast because they're literally cheating. Now, this tool has also an interesting history in that a lot of the quality of life of the tool were eventually added into the game. This tool has stash tab affinity, it had item filter with drop sounds before it was ever implemented, and it also had some sort of auto flash system which got implemented by GGG with the instilling orbs. So this thing has been around for a while, and you can see here, by the way, guys that use the same program that people use for years now farming beasts. And the whole reason you see people on TFT selling 100 plus split beasts at a time, they haven't been banned for ages. And this person here says what I mentioned right here about the quality of life features. The modular aspect was great. You could do whatever you wanted for quality of life features like the stash tab affinity way before they put it in the game. Auto flash tool, full automation. Supposedly it could roll items for you and maps. And yeah, you can see here, this thing does exist. People have been using it for a while, but never has there ever been a Reddit post about how someone has been exploiting it for such big economic gains. So overall, this new game-breaking economy exploit pretty much resulted because of all of the arch nemesis and reward reworks. And it is kind of sad to see, and it's pretty much because they focus all of the rewards you get from juice mapping onto one type of mob, which is Solaris Touched Mob. So it makes perfect sense why this would create a problem with potential cheaters, because the cheaters know that all they have to find is this one rare mod. And that is the huge problem in both, I feel like, game development and in terms of how it feels to play the game. When you concentrate all your rewards in the lotto, it makes people search out for the lotto by any means necessary. And this would all be fixed if they pretty much just reverted the Arch Nemesis rework so that the loot is no longer tied to the Arch Nemesis mods and is actually tied to the amount of mobs you actually kill. And you might think that this issue is going to be fixed forever, but as we all know, in cheating in terms of first-person shooter games, it is always a cat and mouse game, and it is always between the cheat software developer and GGG. And by the size of the mouse and cat, you can already tell who I think is going to win, right? Because they have a lot of people who are cheat developers are pretty good coders in general, and if you see in the FPS scene, the cheat developers pretty much always win as long as there is enough money in it. And with some of the current FPS cheats out there, it is actually kind of sad to see. And that's pretty much why I kind of stay away from FPS games a lot, outside of Valorant, which actually has a pretty intrusive anti-cheat, but it does work to the most part. Now, I do think the economic integrity of the league has been damaged in some way, but I don't think it is irreparable damage. I don't really think the league needs to be restarted, as much as Chris said here that he would take the servers down. It's probably a gross overreaction. I do think that if you use the software right now, you will get banned, and you will get banned in the future because GGG is going to monitor it. They can definitely tell if you are reading the memory of the game. So don't really download the software. Don't try to seek it out, but just be aware that this thing does exist, and just be aware that the way that they designed the Arch Nemesis mods has caused this problem to exist because of how it focuses all of the rewards on the Sword of Lotto. But thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know down in the comments below if you think the economic integrity of this league has been damaged, and whether you feel like people have been using the software to find these so-called loot explosions. And if you actually think Chris's original post about the groups finding mirrors per day and the 50 divine ores from a single mob or actually doing it legitimately. I'm really not sure. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you find more mirrors, exalts, Solaris, touch mobs the right way, and divines to me. And see you next time. Bye.